Well, I guess I'll hold it.
Yes, welcome. Let us know if you can hear us. I know one of these mics might be out, so I'm not sure. Please let us know if you can hear us. Say something.
I don't think mine's out. I think mine is
Yeah, that's a
alive and
good one.
well.
Maybe mine's is
It's
out.
like glowing super,
Mine's is glowing
super
too,
a lot.
but we
It's
just
glowing
missing.
really good
We're missing the top here.
for yours.
Yeah. So yes, guys, welcome, 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 welcome. Shalom, shalom, peace, and blessings to you all. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like the video when you come in the chat or when you watch later. Share because it's getting to that point of time. In a couple of days. It's so crazy how it's crazy because I'm starting to see people in costumes, and I'm like, oh snap! It is that time.
I didn't even notice
Yeah, me neither until I saw people starting to dress up in costumes.
on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm like, what? It's really? Oh wow! It's the end of October.
Oh
So
gosh,
yeah,
that's a struggle.
let us know in the comments how you feel about that.
That's a hot mess.
Yeah, it's so crazy how like you don't um like we don't do Halloween, so we don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, most African people don't either
Yeah,
because that's like weird for African because a lot of African people understand spirituality.
yeah,
And so they're not just going to go into like occult dark art magic just for the heck of it.
exactly. But
But
yes,
that's not the point of the video.
yeah,
The point of the video is to talk about this mass exodus, this mass awakening, because I was thinking of like 2019, 2018, even thinking of our parents'
mm,
generation, our grandparents' generation, their conversations would not have been Africa. Their conversations would not have even been like, oh, yeah, I have a cousin that's in Africa. He's, living his best life in a beautiful house. They're always on adventures. That's just so opposite of what our parents thought about Africa. And so
exactly.
it seems like just in the past few years, there is this mass exodus and mass awakening that we are honored, privileged, and favored and graced to be a part of.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. For us, I feel like it's been like 8, 9, 10 years, pretty much, almost. No,
10
I
years
don't
of
even.
what?
Great wait. No, I want to say 10 years. It's 10 years since we've been together,
Yeah.
but so like 3 years after that.
I'm
So
talking
20.
about the mass awakening of like people seeing that Africa is a viable place for them to go and waking up and seeing, okay, America's not it. That's what I'm talking about.
I Yeah, I guess I'll let you talk about it
Because
because
like when I think to
it's a
my
lot.
grandparents, they
It's still a lot of people
were in the
that's not like
army
that.
and they like the propaganda they had on television, especially during like the 60s and the 70s, was very much America is the best place on the face of the planet. So they were overseas living in the
Mm,
Philippines for a good portion of time. Like my dad grew up in the Philippines for a while, to be quite honest, as well as my uncle. And so, but eventually they came back to America and they were like, they would tell us these stories like, well, America's the best country in the world. And I don't in today's time in 2024, I don't think white or black people think that anymore. I don't think anybody thinks that except maybe the Venezuelan gangs.
no, I
They're the
think
only ones that
I
think that.
I think there that it is a lot of people that think that still because they're still there. They're still like
Okay.
involved with um just everything that America portrays.
Mm.
So it like you. I guess the people that we talk about, it's I guess it depends on the circle the environment and circle that you have. Because the circle that we have, we know people they not worried about America, but there is Americans still there that loves America, and they're not gonna go nowhere.
Are they lying to themselves? Because I'm just honestly from both a
But
Caucasian white perspective and a black perspective. If I'm talking from a black perspective, how are you in love with your oppressor after
because that's
250, 400
America.
years?
America oppressed all these people,
I'm
and
just
please
I'm
let us know
curious.
in the comments too, because America they really oppress people to the point where they just stuck and they can't think outside of America.
That's true.
So that's
Psychological
yeah. So
warfare.
that's what I'm thinking about because in my mind it's like, man, why haven't a lot of people woke up and realized like what's going on? but it's still people that is not woken up and not realizing what's going on.
I think relative
Like
to
really,
how it was before, it's a mass awakening and a mass exodus.
yeah.
Because I would never
It's
hear
put it like
conversations
this.
like this as a child.
It's a mass awakening and a mass slumber too,
Yeah.
or it's
So people are going in both directions.
yeah.
People are either going like all the way to sleep or they're all the way like, okay, this isn't adding up. Even if they're
I
people
guess
that
because even this time of year,
mhm,
that because I'm seeing it again. It's Halloween. People
Halloween.
still doing Halloween and stuff, and it's like
If you still doing Halloween, you probably not gonna
and
make it out of
exact.
America.
So that's what I'm saying. So those people,
If you still doing stuff like
they
that,
still thinking
yeah.
like Americans. They still thinking like, oh, let's go to this type of party when I'm 30 years old, 35 years old. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's
Said
go to
help.
campus and it's a Halloween party
Mm.
there, it's a Halloween party there. And I'm like, because look, we young, we're 30.
Yeah.
So, or I'm 30.
I'm
I ain't gonna
29.
speak to, yeah,
Yeah.
28, probably
In my
29.
last
Yeah,
years
so
in my 20s.
um, so I'm seeing my peers that I went to high school with and
Mm.
stuff like they dressing up and stuff, and I'm like, wow, they still doing this, and it's like,
Why they still
dang,
doing this?
yeah,
Why?
yeah. So it's like,
Say help.
wow, this is they still distracted. So that tells me their mindset is not even thinking about being oppressed. They just comfortable with the oppression. So
Right.
that's just what it is.
While the remnant is going through their mass exodus, and it's happening right now in real time. You have
Yeah,
people across all regions of Africa from the diaspora in America. And just because you don't see them on YouTube doesn't mean they're not there living their best lives. And you know what? The most beautiful thing I think about it, even thinking about our current client, one of
mm,
our current clients in Black Educators Amplified, who is from East Africa, East African born, moved to America, watches
mm,
this channel, watches other channels, is in the program, and she's like, wait, if you can go back to the motherland, why am I still in America?
exactly.
Because I have the connections, I have the family ties. And it's like, yeah, 100%. So it's an awakening, not just within the descendants of slaves that people like to call foundational Black Americans, all of these terms that don't matter. Either way, you need to be back in Africa. Don't matter what you want to term yourself. But between that group and continental Africans that are like, this, America and the UK aren't really adding up to their bank accounts.
Yeah,
They're like, it makes more sense to go back to the village. Makes more
really.
sense to use that leverage and open my business, take everything I learned from the West and either put it online and run a remote company or go take it to the school system in various African countries, whatever way they want to do it,
Exactly.
and
Like,
partner
yeah,
with Pan African associations.
man. Because I guess it's gonna be people ahead of a lot of people, put it like that. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people will wake up and well, I don't know, man. It's every time I think about it, it's still gonna be people that's gonna be stuck. Because it's a lot that's about to happen in the next couple months. Like
In the
and
next couple
yeah,
days.
next couple
What?
days, next couple months, it's gonna be
Next
a
couple
lot
days.
that's about to happen. But I still can see a lot of people not worrying about it. And they just it's not affecting their everyday life. So, they just gonna be like, oh well, I'm gonna brush it off my shoulders and I'm still good. I still have my job. I
Halloween,
still
Christmas,
yeah,
Thanksgiving. We
yeah.
still
Gotta
doing
save up.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, man, it's so much.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's
That's mind
and it's
blowing.
crazy because we don't think like that until
Yeah.
it's these times where it's like, wow, like it is a lot of people still doing this. It's so
We're
many
going
people
into
that's
their
still doing it.
high occult witchcraft season. And people don't even, you're on the age of the internet and people don't even look into this stuff. The origins of Halloween, the origins of Christmas, Thanksgiving, even though history teaches you and tells you what it is, but people still don't want to look at it. And it's like, well, you
Wait,
have
bro,
no
come on,
excuse then.
come on,
You
Jimmy.
just don't have any excuse. It's just reality. Like, why are we still glorifying a mass genocide that happened to Native American people and then saying, well, I just want to be thankful? You want to be thankful for millions and millions of Native Americans that were killed right before your ancestors were taken in slavery. That's what you want to be thankful for. And it's just these things, I just have questions about these things. We can't. I would if we get into Christmas, it'd be a whole. We would be here forever. So we not even
Yeah.
going to touch on
Go ahead,
Christmas.
grab it. But yeah, that's why it's like, man, if people don't realize like this type of or this time with the spell casting and witchcraft, this dark time is very evil and dark,
Yeah.
and people just gonna be stuck into it. Go ahead, get the
Well,
tablet.
it's like they renew their covenant,
Get the tablet. Go ahead.
every year with those occult powers. Honestly, black diaspora, white folk, whoever they are, they renew their ties with these magicians and all these things. And then you wonder why you can't think outside of the box. You wonder why you can't have an alternative lifestyle. And it's because your brain is on such a lower level. And it's not to
Mm.
be rude or anything, but really what kind of vibration are you on when you do occult magic like Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas? What vibration is that? And then say, well, y'all know we're not really African, so I'm gonna stay here forever. Okay, maybe you're not. I am.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Spirit recognized spirit. So that's the divide between the mass exodus and those who will stay. But it's interesting how even if you go outside the American community, you'll see the white community that's starting to be like, it's time for me to go to Spain. It's time for me to go to Greece. You know what? I think I'm gonna go to Russia. Hey, why am I still here? Let me go to the island Mediterranean. What? White Americans saying this. Like literally. And so you have to ask, it's not just a mass exodus of black Americans. It's a mass exodus of
Every
most
nation. Yeah.
Americans that can see what's happening, that feel differentiated from the Western system. That's
Hmm.
the mass awakening. People that don't resonate with the Western spiritual system. That's the awakening.
Yeah. It's I just the people that's not fools. If you're a fool, you still gonna keep doing the same thing. If you're not a fool, you're gonna have some kind of common sense where it's like, okay, I gotta at least, get my land in America and be away from everything.
Yeah,
Cause
get you some German shepherds and
yeah,
weapons too, because
I
when them
I
KKK folks roll up,
I really think that's just if you're in America, that's probably the best thing to do is just get your land somewhere and go get out, get away from what's probably gonna
overwhelming.
be going on pretty soon.
That's so overwhelming. That's just like
Yeah.
so overwhelming to even think about having land in America right down the street from the KKK who act
Then
crazy
we
as
just see
heck.
somebody. Oh, you just showed me that somebody just what?
Yeah. A sister, because our Instagram accounts, we follow a lot of entrepreneurs. It was so sad. She there's two instances actually. The first one we saw today was a sister. She just found out that her $2.7 million mansion. Now, these things
Oh,
aren't anything
project.
new.
She
I
was
just
saying
want
like
everybody
project.
to
Yeah.
understand that this isn't new. This isn't like, oh my gosh, why is stuff like that happening? Y'all, look back at history. I don't know where y'all be at, but y'all need to be in the history, especially in the age of AI, where you can literally look on YouTube and type in Black history, Black Wall Street, and then you're going to see a whole slew of videos pop up, and they're going to
Yeah.
tell you all of the different Black Wall Streets that existed from the 1860s to present day, the bombings, the shootings, the hey, y'all have banks and
Burning down the
hospitals.
whole
Let me come
towns.
in and torture everybody and kill all your children and your wife and your wife. Let me go shut down all your hospitals. And
Really.
so it was something similar that happened to that. It was a sister who's a real estate entrepreneur, real estate investor. She invested in her property. It was like $2.7 million or whatever. And she woke up to somebody calling her saying it had been burnt to the ground. She said, okay, I need to go talk to the fire department and see what happened. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but most of the times in those instances where you own property and you're the only Black person in the neighborhood, no matter what the American fire chief tells you, the white folks that are around your neighborhood sabotaged it because there was envy. Okay. And so this is why you can't live in a society with proximity to that institution, because every time you build, guess who's going to be there to tear down?
Mm.
And this isn't me speaking, this is history speaking. You can go shut this video off right after the video's over, and you're going to find a whole slew of Black Wall Streets from California to Oklahoma to New York to Florida to Mississippi to Ohio, to every state in the country. And then people like immigrants, Venezuelans, all the folks, they'll come in and they're like, oh my gosh, why is the Black community not doing business? And it's like, stop, don't do that. These folks have burned our stuff to the ground, and you have the audacity to come in as a new community and say, oh my gosh, what's going on? Gosh, that lights me on fire. Like, that don't make no sense. It's the audacity for me. Instead, we as a community have to code and say, okay, let me make some strategic connections with my Nigerian family. Let me make some strategic connections with Ghanaians, with Liberians, with Kenyans, with Tanzanians, with South Africans, with Namibians,
with journey with us,
with Ethiopians.
See,
let me make
it's
some
like,
strategic connections outside of that system.
Yeah, it's crazy how, like, we literally, man, just like, when I really think about it, we are literally, we left America. I was 26, he was 24.
Yep.
And we really been
3
doing
young
this.
children.
Yeah, 3 young children. Didn't look back. We are here telling you guys that's watching what the real is. And people still want to be stuck because this is really that. Like, we are really here walking on the ground, going through this process, trying to tell our people, hey, do this, don't do that. Or, get out of America, get out of America, get out of America. Get out of America.
Wow, you can.
Why you can?
It's literally
doesn't
gonna
matter,
fall.
because I'm telling you, it's plenty of places to go outside of America. Even if it's Asia, go to Asia. They got some visas for you. They got some residencies for you, just so you can experience outside of America. And then you will realize, like, okay, hold on, man, this is different. Journey with us, they was right. I got to experience outside of America.
Yeah, that's
And
real.
I'm not talking about no Caribbean. I mean, yeah, still no. No,
Yeah,
no
after that
Caribbean.
documentary we saw yesterday, no, not the Caribbean. No.
So, like, just really go, like, get out of that land, because that land is
Cursed.
and it's just bloodshed. That's the history of it. It's just blood on the land. It's just like Cain and Abel, right? When Cain killed Abel, and the Most High is like, why is the ground crying? It's crying out to me. Man, just think about that. That was just one bloodshed.
Right. That was just one. Wow. And you know what you said about Asia, because a lot of people will come on, they're like, well, we're Native Americans. Great. If you believe you're Native American, why not go to Asia? Because Asian Native Americans have very similar lineages. So why not? So, but nobody says anything. Then they'll be speechless.
Yeah.
Because the issue isn't, oh, I'm Native American. If you're honest with yourself, the issue is, hey, I still idolize America. I'm not comfortable leaving America. Because if the issue was, hey, I'm Native American, great, go to South America, go to Asia, go to Thailand, go to Bali, go to Indonesia, go to Vanuatu. It's actually a wonderful island where you could get a self-employed visa. Go to some of these places. But that's not the issue. The issue is you, white America, just admit it out loud, repent and then move on. It's not too difficult.
Yeah, and it's like a chain holding you down, like, really. And once you break that chain, you will realize what we're talking about, because it's really deep. Like, it's really a spell cast over you. It's just like a cloud over you, just you're trying to move, but it's still over you.
Wow.
So it's still it's things that we have to just heal from and just get away from. You really have to get away
to heal from it.
To heal from it, really.
Man, it's like that documentary. I hate to bring that up because that documentary was crazy. That one we watched last night. But it's like that documentary. So basically, the gist of it, I forget what it was called. It was on Netflix. It was called like My Crazy Ex or something. And the guy like was trying to kill like 5 different women. For real, it's like a story. Like, listen, y'all. So the guy, he's like schizophrenic crazy. He like chokes the women out. He kills them. He tries to kill them. He tortures them, all this stuff. And they keep going back, right? And so finally, no, and the police would not listen. Why don't the police listen? Because he's a white man. Obviously, they all in it together. Okay, and so finally, somebody like is put in a coma. This person that he beat up was put in a coma, and it's like the same thing when you say in America, you can't heal in that same abusive environment of you getting choked out and knocked out, and say, okay, well, it's gonna get better if I just stay and just put my head down and be a good little African American.
Hmm.
No, leave. Go tell somebody. Go across the seas and say, "Hey, this is what's happening and I just need a place to get some sanity and peace of mind." And
Yeah,
people across the world will be like, "Okay. Yeah, you can stay here. I understand. We're trying to fight the same system actually. So yeah,
yeah,
we'll let you have peace here."
exactly. Because I'm telling you, every place is not like America. Although it
It's
may,
not.
although it may seem like it, you might go to I don't know how to put it.
Subway?
So you hungry? You talking about something?
That's what I thought you meant.
No, just say like South Africa. You know, a lot of people say South Africa
Okay.
is like America,
Okay.
right? But I'm pretty sure if you freshly from America and go to South Africa, you're gonna be like, nah, this is different. This is not like America at all. This is
Right.
Africa.
Right.
But for
Yeah.
us, if we go if we South Africa, um, we'll be like, man, this is so much like America.
Right, because we're used to living in small towns.
Yeah,
And like away, we don't even live in the capital city where we're at right now.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, it's just deep.
Yeah.
It's really that deep. But somebody asked about the Caribbean, and I wanted to say, go watch Shattered Paradise.
Go watch Shattered Paradise on
Shattered
YouTube.
Paradise.
Shattered Paradise. Watch it. And it's just seeing stuff like that. You're just like, yep, this is why I will
This is
never return to that side of the world.
man.
You're like, this is why I will never go back.
Yeah.
I won't. And Bantu Lisa in the comments, shout out to our moderator. You are so helpful that the real ID is what's needed to get on planes soon. And so it's
Mhm.
like, y'all,
Go
we
ahead.
have a business connection that's a return does global real estate. And she was talking about how in India, they do not have any of that technology in the airport. And it
Mhm.
just further cements the idea, y'all, America is not like every country. When you
Mhm.
go to countries in Africa and countries in Asia, even countries in the Middle East, even some countries in Eastern Europe, they don't have this full beast system initiated. They are so far from having it, which is a blessing. They still value regular human values, like
Mhm.
not being strapped to a VR headset all day. They still value real life. But that's so hard for Americans to comprehend because America's the opposite of it right now. And so you just believe, okay, so, and then you see on TV Japan, and it's like Japan's just this small island that's dwindling out because it can't repopulate. And it's like even Japan isn't the rest of the world. That's just America and Japan,
Yeah.
maybe Dubai.
It's deep, y'all. It's and talking about that, it's like, I think Japan gonna help America try to fight. It's so much that's happening right now.
Then Kamala and Beyonce.
Yeah,
That
I'll
was
let
a
you go
hot
ahead. Go
mess.
ahead, talk about that. And then I guess we can talk about it a little bit.
And they can
But
always woo and you just bring out idols, black president, and it's like everybody's gonna put the fist up. But it's on both sides. It's on both the Democrats and Republicans because we're neither. We don't vote. We're not part of the system. We don't care about none of it. Okay. We are so clocked out from that. We pay our taxes and live our life, and that's it. Like for real, that's it. For real, 100%, 100,000%. So it's on both Democrats and Republicans because the Republicans, the black Republicans, are like, oh, Miles not gonna help you. You need to at least vote for Trump. And it's like, y'all, all y'all need to opt out and go. You're trying to fight in a 400-year-old oppressive system
they gonna
where you're in an
choose who they
abusive
choose.
narcissist relationship. These folks still lynching black men, truckers, to this day, still lynching brothers and sisters. And our people are like, well, let's just vote some more. Are you joking? Are you literally joking? Let's vote some more where people are getting lynched in 2024.
And
Truckers.
it's crazy how you were saying that. And then because we was listening to Michelle Obama at the little rally
Rally,
thing,
Houston.
and she made people feel bad for not trying to vote for
Kamala.
Kamala, and that tells like, look, um, not a victim. Like our people
Mm,
always is they're just in that space of yeah, I'm a that's what our ancestor was. We were victim, 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 victim.
mm.
But you got to step out of that victimhood and be like, I'm not a
Wow.
victim because
Wow.
it gets deep. It really gets deep.
Ooh.
It really gets deep, and it's like, man, our people really got
Wow.
to wake up and realize, man, drink that coffee and get your eyes open. Like
Yeah.
really, black coffee. I ain't talking no cappuccino.
I'm done with you.
I ain't get that espresso, right?
That's
Get
good
that
though.
Americano.
Cause
Maybe
that's
one.
like,
Yeah. You are not a victim. We are kings and queens. We are gods. And we can step out. We are made in the image of God.
yeah, made in his image. That's what the book of Psalms 68 says.
We are
You are made in the
warriors.
image of Yah, but you shall die as men. Why is that? Because we always want to take on victim mentality. And that's true. I think when we look back to 2019 and 2020 when we left, that I didn't even think about that. But back then, even though there were microaggressions that we didn't like about America, we also understood we are not victims.
Mm,
We also understood I have the ability to buy a plane ticket, to run a business, and to move my children out of this society and to give them a better life abroad.
that's deep.
That's a
Yeah.
victorious identity.
Yeah.
That is a
Because you
courageous
can,
identity.
like, you literally can do that. You can do it. You can go somewhere and buy a house. You can go somewhere and live your life. You can go somewhere and buy land and live off the land. You can do this. You can do it.
Yeah, even if you're a college student, you can get rid of that 50K debt. Look, don't go back the next semester. Why don't you go put yourself in one of the Kenyan schools?
Yeah.
Kenyan, do you know how afford
It's
if
like
there's any young
$300.
people on this
What
program,
is that?
on this live,
That's
I said on this
one
program.
one thousand. That's like $1,800 a year.
Exactly. People don't know this stuff exists.
One thousand eight
Bachelor's
hundred
degree.
dollars a year. That's at least 4 years. You probably can.
And you don't need the 60 in debt.
Yeah.
That means you can walk away with a degree. You can, if you want to take your time and get a PhD, then do that because it's so affordable.
Yep. And we know
What?
people, even the country that we're in,
Mm-hmm.
they come here at like 30, 35,
40
40,
PhDs.
getting they master's PhD and stuff because it's possible.
It's affordable. And the countries, they're like, well, great. This actually helps our educational institution. You paying. So, they don't care. You paying them.
Yeah.
It's a win-win situation. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. And so it's like, man, y'all. And then just imagine the network you would have. And that's why I'm so excited for when our children grow up and they can start to go to some of those schools. Oh my gosh, it would be so good to say, wow, we didn't have to save up $100,000 to send our 5 children to school. It'll be more by
Not
then. It's
even
probably going to be
close. Yeah.
200,000 because we have 5 children. Like you can literally put them on an affordable payment plan for their affordable school in South Africa, Kenya. You want to get fancy with it? Ethiopia, Egypt. You want to be fancy? Tunisia, Morocco, Botswana. But it's like there's too much opportunity in Africa for both Africans on the continent and for Africans abroad to not see it. Hence why we see the Dutch, the UK, and the Irish kicking Africans out. Hence why
Immigrants.
we see
Yeah.
all of this tension between immigrants around America because guess what? Until you speak, they don't know you're not African. So when white people in America see you in corporate America, you and the Nigerian brother that's sitting right there, you and the Nigerian sister, they can't tell y'all apart till y'all speak.
Hmm.
So now what happens when this tension starts arriving with the immigrants in America and the white folks? You're still black. They like, well, are you Haitian? Are you Nigerian? Are you Ghanaian? Are you Senegalese? Are you Congolese? You're like, I was born here. They've been lynching you since you was born here. It don't matter that you was born there. They don't care. You think they care when they lynched our brothers that were just minding their business trucking in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and they just grab them out the truck and decide to lynch them? You think they care that they were born there? You think the KKK cares about that? You think police care about that when they come in and just shoot us? They just come in. They don't care because what they see, this is an African, and I feel like I want to unalive them, and so they do it. That's the you're if only y'all understood the psychology and the principalities behind these people. And it's not all Europeans, but it is the Europeans that are in America. Oh, 100%. Because they have the power and authority. When you go outside of America, they don't have that kind of authority. They don't have that kind of authority in Africa. They don't have that kind of authority in Asia to do that. And so you don't see it happen. Those things only happen in America. Even look at South Africa, the racial tensions they have. Guess what? The script is flipped. It's the Zulus that look at the Boers or white or whatever they call them, and they look at them with animosity. It's not anymore that they're being oppressed as much, maybe from a systemic standpoint. But when it comes to your life is literally in danger, America's the only country on the face of the planet that's like that with that system. Now, you may have petty crime here and there and stuff like that, but it's not an entire principality that wants to do right. The UK is starting to take on that as well with shooting brothers and sisters, but still nowhere near America. That's an American thing. And why? Because that was the inception. That was how America was conceived. So why would you expect them to change? Why would you expect that? They didn't ever tell you they wanted to change. They never go to no black community in any of these places and say, hey, can we pay you reparations? Tell us. How can we stop? First of all, why would you even have to ask, how can I stop wanting to unalive somebody? Isn't that like a twisted, that's weird to have thoughts like that, isn't it? For a principality to think that in these sheriff's office, in these different institutions to think, guys, you got to start to discern the adversary in the flesh,
Yeah,
your literal enemy.
it's 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 nothing new under the sun. I think like if you really think about that, it's nothing new under the sun. So as it was in the old days, is still the same in this day.
Hmm.
As in it was in the ancient days, it's still this day. Like really, when you think about the police and the sheriff, just how you were saying, track the history. It goes back to slave catchers. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's like, ah, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's super deep, and there's police everywhere. I know they say. I mean, it's nothing against the good police and stuff like that. I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
but
The
it's
one or
it's
two good ones.
yeah, but the root of it, the foundation of it, not good. So just make sure you do your research. Research is very, very important in these last days. You know, Most High poured out this knowledge for a reason, and all you got to do is reach out and grab it, and keep it in the back of your head so you know what's to come because it's coming super fast. A lot of evil stuff is about to happen, and
Yeah.
it's supposed to happen. The Most High is going to allow it. So you really got to be in the right environment. That's why you just try to tell people like just be in the right environment, please. Don't be in the wrong environment. It's going to be very bad. Like y'all think handling what's happening right now is going to be okay? No, this all this the next phase is going to get even worse.
Thank you so much, Layla. Members only for the super chat. Shalom, shalom. Much love. Thank you so much. We
Yes, thank you,
appreciate that.
thank you. Um,
Yeah, you're right. It's just, and they just announced recently, they said on top of the Kamala, Beyonce, all that stuff that's going on with the Democrats, the Republicans, on top of all that, they announced Friday, they were like, hey, around the globe, Americans be alerted at American and Israeli bases. They may be trying to hurt y'all. There's going to be mass protests. And so you can already start to see the writing on the wall, the
yeah,
nations turning against this system that used to be the most coveted system on earth.
it's getting intense because China they just ordered their citizens out of Israel. America they just sent troops to Ukraine on the border of Russia. You know, Israel and Iran is Japan and the U.S. is going to get even tighter. Taiwan is it's just getting super bad, and you really got to understand, like, man, this it's already war. It's already war. So you got to be in the right space. You got to be in the right environment
Yeah.
to survive and to know, like, man, protect your family.
Mm.
Really protect your loved ones. Protect your friends and families. Let them know what's going on, because a lot of people, they just out and about dressing up in costumes and doing all that silly stuff, foolish stuff, and it's not that time to do it.
That's so bad. Like I'm just trying to wrap my
It's
mind
still
around it. Like
like look, in other countries,
why?
like just say Russia. I saw a video. Russia, they literally got bomb shelters for their people on street corners,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe two, three corners or street corners, you'll find a bomb shelter just in case something happens like that. But America, they just got bars and stuff on corners to be like, yeah, we having a Halloween party over here, Thanksgiving party over here, we having a Christmas party over here. Come on. But look, America never really got attacked like that, and judgment is gonna come.
That's something, man. Members only. That was a good question. Kuzingeta, journey with us. Why do you think so many able-bodied Yashrael believers don't think they should flee Babylon and sit and wait? Ooh, I love that question. You want to answer it first? That's such a good question. You good? What does that mean?
I said what I said.
I don't know what you said.
Nah, I mean, I let you answer it, because that's hard to speak about.
I think from a spiritual standpoint, when I think about a spiritual standpoint, what I'll do is tell you a story. Okay. I'm going to answer the question with a story. When I think about the first time we ever wanted to leave America, the first thought that ever came into my head, I was 18, 19 years old. And I was waking up and I was like, oh, there's stuff around me. I'm learning history. I'm seeing the writing on the wall. Mind you, I grew up in Ashkenazi Jewish community, so I have very close proximity to white people, not just white people, but wealthy, a certain principality of people. And so I just automatically I had a disdain. I was like, no, I got to go to Africa. I can't stay here.
Hmm.
Spiritually, I am not meant to stay in a place where my ancestors were taken in captive, the place that they wanted to take me and literally kill me. Why would I stay in that environment? Why would I do that? It's just for me, it was common sense. For me, it was a calling, it was a choosing, it was the Most High saying, "This is the trajectory I have for your lineage, and I'm going to increase you as you leave." Because that's been our testimony. The Most High, He's literally increased us with the fruit of our body, meaning our children, the fruit of our bank, the fruit of our businesses, the fruit of travel. And so it's really this increase. So, in one aspect, it's many are called and few are chosen. In another aspect, from a spiritual standpoint, I don't think many Christians and people who believe in the Bible have a disdain for America. I think secretly people
It's an
kind of have
idol.
a love relationship with America. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
America's an
Especially
idol.
if you're over 35, people have like
Yeah,
a this like
and it,
affair with America. This like, oh, I hate how y'all treat me like this. Then on the next side, you in the voting poll, like, man, it's the best country on earth. Shalom.
yeah, it's an idol thing, and we gotta get rid of our idols, like,
Mm.
really, like, to the last the most the it's hard to say. There's a lot of people idolize a lot of things, and I'm not just saying like I'm perfect, because even when I realized that, man, I'm making this, man, I gotta stop it. I repent, Most High, I'm sorry. You
Hmm.
know, so that's part of it, and just how you just said, many are called and few are chosen. So if Most High is calling you, and it's not like, you just gotta think about the children of Israel when they escaped Egypt. Many was called, Like that was the Most High
Mm,
Spirit protecting them that night. Passover, the destroyer came, killed a lot of people, and they got called out of the land. That's a spiritual calling.
right.
So if you know that it's a spiritual calling, like it's just spiritual.
Yeah.
It's not physical. Like it becomes physical when you move,
Right.
but the most important part, the Most High called you here to the motherland. You gotta be here and endure, because if you're not enduring to the end, you're just gonna go back to the idols,
Mm,
because it's very deep. It's very deep with that fear. Fear is the opposite of faith, of belief. You really gotta believe. You gotta know, like, this is it. The Most High is telling me this, and I'm gonna go with it. Even like coming to this new country that we're in,
hmm.
man, that fear came in, but the Most High literally called us here for a reason.
Right. Yeah, I've looked back also on Abraham, I think, because the children of Israel are not a literal nation right now, that I think our context is off because of church and Christian. And that's why I always say, like, get out of churches, get out of
Yeah,
religion, get out of
religion.
church. Like, sit with them. If you can't sit with your Bible, you and the Holy Spirit, the set apart spirit, and receive downloads, you're in trouble. You're in trouble,
Hmm.
family. You're in trouble. If you're waiting on a church pastor or the church leader or this elder over in that city or this person over there, you waiting on this mass thing. And it's like, that's not it. That happens. And when that happens, that's literally the Messiah that's drawing people back for the new kingdom. But what we're seeing right now as a mass exodus is literally where he says, I'm going to call you out one by one, just the way I want. And that's like literally how he wraps it up. And it's written in the word. After you read Jeremiah 50 and 51, I mean, there's no getting around that. You can float your way around it and like manipulate your way around it, but it's very clear. This is why reading is so important. This is why we really structure so much time to teach our children literacy, because you can't just float away everything.
Hmm.
You can't just, okay, it says flee Babylon, but it doesn't say flee. What do you mean? That's not what it said. FLE. So what does flee mean? Oh, well, it's just spiritual. Were the 10 Commandments spiritual as
And
well? Do
it's
you
not.
have to keep those, or are
It's
you like everything can't be just only spiritual, spiritual? There's faith and works to match your faith. There's spiritual and physical to match what's happening. They marry each other for oneness and unity in the spirit.
and I know he's just talking about this too.
Okay.
How the environment, like your environment, really affects you.
Mm,
Like that's super deep. Like it's very deep. Like the environment around you will affect you. I don't care how spiritual you are. Like
mm.
really,
Wow.
like that's deep.
It's the heart. Ooh,
Yeah.
the heart is desperately wicked. Who could know it? Who could know the heart?
Like you got to get out that environment.
Ooh. And see, this even goes back to like 2019, 2020, although they started the LGBT agenda and occult stuff. But I honestly don't understand where everything that's coming out with P. Diddy now. If you go look at Shattered Paradise's videos, if you look at everything that's coming out, it's like, and you're still like, well, this is the greatest place on earth. I'm going to just wait and wait and wait. It's like, but what about the angel that came to Sodom and Gomorrah and told Lot, get out this city? I'm going to destroy it. I'm literally, he didn't say I'm a spiritually kind of halfway destroy it. And I'll let you know. He said, I'm going to take it out the face of the planet. Get out the city. And Abraham, well, if there's one righteous, will you save it? He's like, yeah, but I don't see none righteous in the city.
Yeah,
Who could stand before the king?
it's crazy because once you get out that environment, the Most High will download a lot of stuff into you. Because I remember a couple weeks ago, I had a dream about America being split with
Mm,
floods and fires and bombs. It was literally split in like four pieces. Like the whole continent of North America was split.
even South America?
I I, I just was
I only saw.
remember. I remember just America just being split. And we see everything that's happening with all these floods and hurricanes and earthquakes in diverse places. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not crazy, it's prophesied.
Whew, yeah. Second estrus. And the Most High, He's literally
Hosea,
like, I'm
yeah.
doing this for your salvation, your redemption. I'm doing
Hmm.
this for the vengeance of the saints. So don't be sad, don't be mad. Because I think the other issue we have as people from the West is that there's this, again, it goes back to Roman Christianity. If people want to be honest, let's be honest. Let's talk. Let's be honest, okay, y'all? Those of us who are, who say we're in the truth, who are Israelites, whatever you're Christians, whoever you are, you read the Bible, you believe it, the full testimony, the old, the new, all of it. But you will look at people in Africa and say, oh, they're all ham. You will look at people in India and the islands of the sea in the Middle East. You have Afro Brazilians, Afro Indonesians, Afro Indians, Afro Jordanians, and you'll look at all of them and say, nope, none of them are chosen, only me in America. That's twisted. That's prideful.
And that's look, that's how, I woke up too. I ain't gonna lie. Like that's what it was. Like,
Okay.
oh, yeah, man, we are the chosen people. I don't
Only
look,
us.
only us, because
Only the
we got
4%.
yeah, only the people here in America.
Oh gosh. Until
Like,
you
yeah,
come out
until
and you
you
start
start
to
to realize,
empathize,
yeah.
and it's also not being a victim,
Hmm.
because if you're a victim, you can't see anybody else's struggle. But being in Africa, I see, oh, this is the chosen people right here, the way these people line up with Deuteronomy 28. Oh, see these people in India that are in the forest, the way they line up with Deuteronomy 28. Oh, the Afro Jordanians, y'all were taken in the East African slave trade by the Arabs.
Yeah,
Oh,
let us know
oh, the
if
Malagasy of Madagascar.
the people
Hmm.
on here got a question. Have you heard of the East African slave trade? Let us know in the comments. Like, give us a seven if you heard of that, because that's good. Because I really didn't hear about that until like really starting to research
I didn't hear about it till
Africa.
coming to Africa to be. I didn't know
Yeah,
about the East African Arab slave trade. We're taught transatlantic. We're victims. We're victims. We're slaves. Showed us all these slaves. That's another thing. I get so sick and tired. Why y'all still producing slave films in 2023 and 2024?
yeah,
For what? Because they want you to be a perpetual slave until you come out and say, you know what, that was a long time ago. It's time for me to get on my 2 feet and stand 10 toes down and be a victorious daughter of Zion or a son of Zion.
it's it's really
That's it.
it's really, do you believe or not? I know we say that a lot. Like, it really gets down to that. Do you really believe that you can stand on your 2 feet
Mm.
and the Most High can lead you?
When I would post on Facebook before, because my Facebook, they always like to like hack my stuff, y'all. It's a hot.
Crazy. Yeah.
Man, I try to get on my Facebook, y'all. Some young white kids, looked like some Russians, hacked my whole profile and hijacked. It was a hot mess. Anyway, I'm not getting into that story. But when I would post on Facebook with my old profile before they hacked it, people would like, because I would just be talking about history findings, what I'm finding out about the Bible and all these things. And people would just be so caught up in seeing things from such a closed lens. We would repeatedly, oh, we're slaves, we're this, repeatedly, until it gets to the point you step out of it, especially as a traveler, you step out of it and say, why do Black Americans act like that? Because when you go to other oppressed groups, like even in this country we're in, most countries in the world have been oppressed by the Roman Catholic Church. Let's just be honest. And so you get to understand that. And people here don't repeatedly say, oh my gosh, I remember when I was a slave and I was brought here as a slave and I was a slave. And oh my gosh, I was a slave. I was a slave. Oh my gosh. Like you don't meet people here and they're like, guess what? My name is so and so and I used to be a slave.
Yeah, my
But
ancestors
Black
were slaves.
Americans, a lot of us will just start with that. We will go to Africa and be like, yeah, my ancestors were like slave is not your identity.
Hmm.
Slave is something that happened to your ancestor. It's not your identity. Your identity is who you are called to be in Yahusha. That is your identity. Your identity is not, I'm a slave. This is why Roman Christianity and Roman Catholicism, even in the Israelite church, is so twisted to keep showing you these movies. I'm a slave. Because nobody else says that. You go to South Africa, the Zulu's probably not going to tell you, "Hi, my name is so and so, and I'm a slave."
Yeah,
Even though treacherous things did happen in South Africa, treacherous things happen in Tanzania. You meet Tanzanians, they're not like, "Oh, I'm a slave." Even though the East African slave trade happened there,
yeah. It really
they don't
goes
start
back
with that.
to,
It's identity.
man, this truth. Like when you wake up to this truth and start to understand, like, man, they whitewashed everything. Like how can you still stand and still listen to what they're saying?
I can't. I would lose my mind. Most High, he said, "I gotta pull her out. Her mind ain't gonna be right staying." And this is why people lose their minds in America. This is exactly why, because you're not meant to stay there for it's for a season, but your lineage was supposed to come back home. Your lineage wasn't supposed to stay there all that time. Your lineage needed to be born in the land. We have two daughters born in Africa, continental born Africans.
Mhm.
Your lineage wasn't supposed to stay there forever. But some people idolize it. That's why the Most High says a remnant. That's for sure. And just by his word, this isn't I didn't write the word. He said it's a remnant. The Most High, he said, "I'm going to draw out a remnant." So I must assume that according to Second Esdras, people are going to be caught up in the sword. They're going to be caught up in famine. They're going to be caught up in sickness, or they're going to be caught up in idol worship of America and still love to cling to Uncle Sam.
Mhm.
That's a spiritual sickness that you need to get free from, that you can be free from
You
if you
are free.
want.
Yeah, you are free.
You have to choose it.
Yep.
And so yeah, that's a long explanation. It's deep. I could write a book on that topic. I think I will write a book on that topic one day because it's loaded.
It's
It's
deep.
very loaded.
It's deep. It's deep. But yeah, guys, we're let us know your question. If you got any questions, if you know what's going, like what is going on where you are, what state are you
Buffoonery.
in? Like, let us know like what's going on in the country that you're in, stuff like that. Because of course, we do our research, but our research is more like nowadays. It's like, man, how can we get straight and make sure everything's good for this next generation? It's not more of a,
Geopolitical.
yeah, like, yeah, we not, yeah, yep. But yeah, anything else?
Any questions, leave them in the comments. Y'all know we don't come on live as much anymore. We've been super busy with homeschool, looking at investment properties, business. Isn't that the part of how we know who we are? Facts. I'm of the Songhai tribe on my maternal side. Thank you, African ancestry. Oh, wow. Are you going to go visit? That's awesome. That's so good. That is really good. Worse than the transatlantic slave trade, still ongoing. Sambuca's Eden journey. Yes. Started way before the transatlantic. Facts. That's a fact. So true. We just have to take the scope off of ourselves and be willing to be a servant and just humble ourselves and say, okay, what else is happening to my cousins that are worldwide in Africa, right? We just got to think about that. I don't know where it went.
What?
There's a long, that one.
Oh,
Oh. So yes, family, that pretty much wraps up this video. Tell us what y'all think of Kamala bringing out Beyonce and Kelly Rowland for the Democrats. And I think it was also crazy how it was like an abortion rally. It was a women's rights rally, and it's just really foolish. It's
yeah, there's
really
some wicked
foolish,
stuff going on
satanic.
in those politics and stuff.
Black women spearheading it, and a half black woman. She's not fully, yeah. Shalom, fam. How much is the visa there? The visa we have in this current country is free, and the residency. Somebody said I want to go to Timbuktu, right? Oh my gosh. I was just looking up West Africa today, looking at Sierra Leone because my ancestry is from there. and Liberia, because we have somebody who watches the channel from Liberia, and I didn't know Liberia was developing that fast. I'm like, I'd love to visit one day.
Dang, somebody said Bahari Beach area. Ooh,
Wow.
Bahari Beach is nice.
Yeah, it
We used to
is.
go to Bahari Beach
It's nice and
all the
slow and
time.
suburban.
Go there to eat at Ledger Plaza.
Yeah, what food was that they had that I used to like? Gosh, it was some kind of veggie lasagna.
Oh yeah,
That was good. It was
yeah.
a
We
little
used to.
pricey,
Yeah,
but it was good.
yeah.
It was good. From Louisiana, I want to move to Africa, but it's getting more expensive out there too. I don't have the funds. I believe Africa will be judged too. Wars brewing out there as well. Yeah, the whole earth will be judged. But I mean, what is expensive? What cities are you looking at? You're probably not looking at the right cities. Like if you're talking about Accra, Ghana,
I think
that's
he.
pretty
I think it
pricey.
meant like Louisiana expensive.
Oh,
Cause Africa not expensive.
yeah, Africa. Unless you're in Accra, that's like the only city that can get similar to Western costs in like Ohio or something like that. But not. It's not even comparable to New York or LA. Listening to Phoenix, Arizona had a question on how's the education in your country. Have a very young granddaughter. I'm seriously thinking on relocating. That's a good question. So when we schooled our children in Tanzania, the education was decent in some aspects. It was great from an African history standpoint, from a communication standpoint, in the English language. It was flawed, obviously, because their main language is Swahili, right? So obviously that would be a little bit of an issue. But as far as literacy rates are concerned in the country we're in now, it's 98%. As you go to the Southern Africa region, you see like literacy rates that are super, super high. And I'll tell you the pattern is if you look at countries that are on the least corrupt list, the most peaceful countries, a lot of those countries also have very high literacy rates.
Hmm.
Botswana is also phenomenal with literacy rates as well. South Africa as well. Kenya too. Even Kenya, when you think about like the entrepreneur sphere, the tech hub, the quality of education that children get there as well. So it's really about like what are you willing to negotiate on as far as education is concerned? Because there are gives and takes. How does a family or solo biz owner empower us in the kingdom and flee Babylon? Do you have resources? That's a great question. We do have resources. Feel free to check out the link in the description for our one-to-one sessions. Black Educators Amplified registration is closed. Sorry, y'all, we're in the middle. We're in like week 5 and 6 of the program. Right now, we're helping health practitioners to transition back to Africa, but make sure they sustain their business before leaving. And so check out the links in the description for one-to-one offerings since registration is closed for Black Educators Amplified until 2025.
Yeah, because pretty soon we're gonna get back to state of diaspora too, but we're gonna mix it up a little bit with more of investors. So stay tuned with that.
Just saw your email will reach out. Wonderful. Thanks. Much love from Pompano. Where is Pompano? That woman has no African ancestry. Her great grandmother was a Irish planter. Right, that's true. Right. So she had a white father then an Indian mother, I believe. So she doesn't have any African ancestry at all. That's true. Isn't that weird? They just be they always get our community with somebody that just got an ounce of melanin and be like, all right, it's an African person. They're one of you. And we our people fall for it every time, ma'am. Global Peace Index is a game changer. Get hip facts. These are things you gotta know. You gotta look. When you making a long-term transition, you better know the Global Peace Index. You better know how safe it is. You better know if they got corruption that's off the chain or not. You better know if there's tribalism that's gonna get in the way of your business. You better know how they treat people that are like you from the tribe that you are from. You better understand those historical dynamics. You better understand if there are certain Arabs and certain people from colonial times that sold off your ancestors that still live in them towns. Hmm? That's deep.
Yeah.
That's beyond surface level.
One more question.
What's the difference between Black Edu Amplified and State of the Diaspora? Oh, that's a good question. So Black Educators Amplified is our 8-week incubator designed for experts, teachers, lawyers, real estate investors, healthcare workers, etc. They are experts who want to transition away from their 9 to 5 and start their online consulting business. So week 1, they actually go through and do their 20 question frameworks during weeks 1 and 2. Weeks 3 and 4, they get their website messaging together. Weeks 5 and 6, they go through email and video marketing. And then weeks 7 and 8, they're ready to launch their business and have a clear roadmap with a 3 to 6 month content calendar. Now, State of the Diaspora is a group workshop we do kind of seasonally. It's on pause till January 2025. But State of the Diaspora essentially tells the story and life experience of the corruption, all the things that we've endured and seen across different areas in Africa, and some of the stories from other diaspora, because we're not the only ones who have this experience, all combined into a 90-minute workshop that spans 7 days. So day 1, you come in, day 7, you come in, and we're really helping you to move from, I don't know how to move to Africa, to, hey, I have a 3 to 6 month game plan and I know which residents I'm going to get based on my work history, what's going to work for my specific nuanced experience and life. So yeah, that's the difference.
Good job. That was great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I think we're gonna go watch The Twilight Zone. We're just watching All Fall Down in Fort Lauderdale. We love y'all. Just might sell everything to get out. Seriously, yes, what we did. We sold everything to get out. You know, when you choose the right country, this visa free for Americans, you don't have too much pressure when it's like that, where you can get that 3 to 6 months visa free. That really takes a lot of the pressure off. Once you understand what networks are available, it's just so helpful to understand the logistics, because then you're like, oh, there's opportunity everywhere. I just didn't know about it. Because
Yeah.
most people on YouTube just don't know, because most people don't live that life, but we live it.
Yeah. Research and connection is the key to currency.
Yeah. So, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, family. Thanks for tuning in.
Be blessed.